What's good, everybody? We got 50 up in here already, man. Shout out to 50 people in the chat. It's your boy Matty. I'm in here with KB, X, Rich. You already know, man. Morning Breath Show. Back at it. Streeter, he got some other stuff to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Recording some future stars and things like that. So we'll see if you pop in. If you don't, it is what it is.
Just say a future. He recorded the future Kane today. Just say it. Just go ahead and say it.
Legacy kid. We'll leave it at that, man. How we feeling, fellas, man? We back. Dominant win. How we feeling?
I feel good about it, man. I knew we was gonna beat this team. Obviously, it's some things that I was upset about because I just didn't think this team was good at all. So, with the helps of the refs and a couple of mistakes from us, but we kicked their ass. We dominated. I don't see any aspect that they did beat us on at all. So I'm happy.
I didn't want to watch no other game. I was thoroughly pleased. That game had emotional highs and lows, and shed a tear for my boy Cam. It had everything. It had everything. What other game do you want to watch on a Saturday? Then the Kane win against scrub ass Texas A&M.
Man, I enjoyed the game thoroughly. Like Rich said, it had its it ain't like it had a lot of lows or anything, but it had its ups and downs. It had its worries, it had its frustrations. It had moments. It was a good game. Even though it felt like we should have ran away with the game. It was a good game, you know what I mean, to go kind of back and forth or whatever and to see what we had. So, good game. I'm glad this is not a somber moment. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad, Cam all right and all that stuff is good. Because I was like, dang, it's gonna be tough to do this show. You know what I'm saying? If Cam was gonna be down or not, but God is good. Thankful for everybody present and all that good stuff. So, man, it was a great day. Good night, great night.
We'll definitely give y'all Cam Kinch's update as well as the rest. X. Oh, this way. X. Oh, this way. X. X is gonna get that to you later in the show. But for now, man, let's just get into it. I will start with
jump into the show. Before we jump into the show, do we want to entertain this? Do we want to entertain this? This theory, this word that everybody uses about you. We're back. Do we want to entertain that, or we just
hell to the no? Hey, look, I'm gonna say that. Matter of fact, with a comment, I'm gonna highlight it. I will say this, and I'm gonna start here. TVD, formerly the meat known as Tyler, last season known as Tyler the Turtle. He earned his initials back, so it may take some adjusting for me to do, but he will be TVD for the time being. Now I stand on this. This is why I can't say we back yet. He got to beat Florida State. Every great Canes legend, Canes quarterback came there. They beat Florida State. The ones that we respect, at least. That's part of what comes with attending this school. You cannot be someone who does 3-4 years here as a starting quarterback and never beat Florida State. I don't care how I don't care if it happens off a missed field goal. I don't care. You gotta do your job. You gotta say, hey, we beat Florida State. That's it. So when that happens, we'll talk. But
KB. Oh, KB, you gave your thoughts, but
nah, what happened?
Go ahead.
Nah, he asked, do we want to entertain that question? I was like, nah, I'm good. We can keep moving with that one. I don't want to start that.
Man, I would say this about us being back. I wouldn't say that we're back in terms of we're back to the old you or anything like that. I think we're past that. I think more so the thought process from this team should be in what if I was Mario, I would be telling this team, don't worry about the record. Don't worry about your schedule and what you got on the schedule, the one thing that you proved to yourself during this game is that you could be anybody at any time. We're finally at that point where I know we've seen those Kansas State teams and those TCU teams where they just know how to win. They know how to pull out a W. And you like, damn, they're underdogs, but they know how to pull out a W. I feel like this game showed that we know how to pull out a W. And the one thing I did like, which is this is part of being able to pull out a W, is Shannon Dawson over there with his notepad. He was like this at times with the headset, and it was like he was staring over at old Jimbo like, watch, I'm gonna fuck you up. Watch. I got something for that. I loved it. And excuse my French. Don't mean to be cursing like that early in the morning, but I just loved it. I loved having a OC and a DC on the sideline, looking at their sideline like, oh yeah, that's the defense you're gonna play. All right, we're gonna go to this personnel. I love that. We didn't have that last year. We did not have that.
So
Dawson, the Gaddis special, better than Gaddis.
So covering down our score predictions, we definitely all missed the mark, all four of us. KB didn't get one in last week. To recap, Streeter had 28-24 Canes. Rich had 28-14 Canes, which probably is, at least for A&M, it's probably closer to right, just based off what we spotted them. We'll bring KB back when he's good. X had 38-13 Canes, and I had 28-13. So we definitely bid low when it came to our offense. I did not see personally Tyler throwing for a 50 piece, but I am pleasantly surprised. We'll leave it at that, right? Mm-hmm. He single-handedly carried the team, and I was trying to figure out a way I could play it back, but myself and X both kind of said this team moves is how Tyler moves, right? So if Tyler didn't, as X said, out of body type experience, then this team wasn't gonna win, and so he definitely did that. So X, give us your thoughts about what you saw from the offense, and then we'll pass it to Rich.
Man, okay, so what I saw from the offense is Gilgy, he basically gave the playmakers opportunity to make plays. You see the one pass he threw to Isaiah Horton. I know everybody was like, oh man, that's Horton. Is he going to catch it? But Horton, like, he didn't really, it wasn't like he ran an outstanding route. He just ran a simple stop and go. And he beat the corner and he caught the ball where he was able to keep running. That was the thing that I was thinking about TBD. Is he going to throw the ball enough to the players where they could catch it and then create yards after catch? All day yesterday, you saw it all day. Like all day yesterday, he was just on the money with it, man. And it was entertaining, man. The stadium was rocking, man. The stadium was rocking, like rocking. So I was excited about the offense.
Rich, what you got?
For me on offense, I feel like in this game, our offensive coordinator took exactly what their defense was giving them. So they have a monstrous old D-line. Their D-line is huge. Even their D-ends look like D tackles. I don't know if we're going to face a D-line that's that big outside of them this year. I really don't know. But somehow, some way, even though, Maui Goa had the penalties, he's a freshman, he had his hands full though, but he held his own. And TVD didn't, his jersey wasn't dirty like like in games past. I think we averaged 3 sacks a game. They said TVD was sacked 36 times last year. So So that's a bad average. So it was good to see that they kept him upright. And then when we're looking at the receivers,
Hold on, Rich, hold on. We just TV for right now. We're gonna hit that in a second.
Okay, no problem.
I'm gonna get KB taken, and we're gonna move on from there.
He stayed upright against probably the biggest, maybe one of the most dominant D lines that we're gonna face all year. So that hats off to the trenches and
on paper. I text that. I tweeted out instantly. I said, man, that 5-star shit over there soft, man. That ain't. I have seen
straight up, man. Fuck them stars.
Yeah, I ain't seen.
This is why I've never believed in that shit. Like,
I ain't seen nothing. To be honest, Rich, from last year to this year, can you sit there and say that defensive line, all they started as 5 stars? That D line is good. Well, you just saying on paper, y'all good, but on the field, it's like ain't nobody imposing, making anybody feel uncomfortable. Y'all just there.
Yeah.
KB, what you got, man? What's your thoughts on Tyler last night and how he played the game?
My thoughts on Tyler. He looked comfortable. It took. I'm not saying it took a while, but he got out there. Once we finally started slinging the ball around a little bit, he looked comfortable. He looked like somebody was. I forgot which play it was. Maybe it was that play in the third, but somebody was like, y'all was in the group me, and somebody was like, look at Tyler smiling. You know what I'm saying? Like they ain't seen that smile in a minute, and the announcers went over that. They was talking about like he had to get back to himself mentally as well. You know, he had to go see a therapist and all that kind of stuff, and he was comfortable, and that was so good to see. One thing that stood out to me was that run he did where he ended up taking a sack. It was just the effort to me that he scrambled out and he tried to go for it. Like he's not an immobile guy. He's not a runner, but he's not an immobile guy. But the fact that he was in the game, I felt like he was in the game. He felt good, and that's why he was trying to go for it instead of just dumping it or throwing it away. So I saw an A+ Tyler yesterday. I really did.
Oh, we got an A+ out of KB. Y'all know what KB means.
hardest critic in the game, man.
You don't give out no TVD. No. I'm not calling you TVD no more. I'm gonna call you by your patent name, Tyler Van Dimes.
And
I'm gonna call you by your name. That boy was on the money. KB gave him an A+, so you know TVD had to have a good game.
How much better can you get? You know what I'm saying? Like, I heard a lot of and I said it kind of wide, man. Got the #1 passer rate. And I was like, he played against Willacoochee State School of the Blind. Like, let's cut it out. Like, let's stop. And it was very clear, you know, on their side of the ball. A couple of them hits was getting there. They wasn't finishing. I think they had 3 sacks total yesterday, but you can obviously tell that he was rattled. Like that quote unquote half empty stadium definitely did their job. So shout out to the fans because y'all definitely showed up and showed the hell out. And so I think that was a huge deal. And then getting that pressure to him, getting him rattled in that pocket. Don't get me wrong, that was the second time. I mentioned in the prediction show, the second time he threw over 300, but 100 plus was to one guy, Evan Stewart. The rest was a lot of check downs underneath when we had a sizable lead, and he threw the ball 51 times. So
51 times, you better have over 300 yards, something like that. So.
But let's keep it moving. Let's talk about defense, right? Defense, Lance Guidry. And I posed this question in our chat in preparation for this. Was this just Petrino being masterful and Guidry not really like was this more Petrino being masterful with them scoring that many points, or was this more Guidry realizing, hey, I'm in the big leagues now. This ain't G5, you know, Tulane or Marshall. This is where the big dogs are at. Which one do y'all think it was?
I think it was more Guidry. You know, when you talk to him or you hear him speak, he always says that he's, no matter what the offense runs, he's gonna make the offense dictate what he does defensively. You know what I'm saying? So like you see Texas A&M, they kind of like switched their whole game plan up. You know what I'm saying? From week 1, they was going downfield every play. Week 2, couldn't do that. So Guilty made them do what he wanted them to do. He allowed them to do what he wanted them to do.
What you got, Rich?
Man, I gotta say, first it comes and KB is gonna like this. It's all about development, and I feel like we saw it. Our corners and our safeties, they stick with their guy. That's the first thing that pops off the tape is even though like the one penalty against Devontae when Cam almost had another interception, that stuff is going to happen. But I like the fact that we're not giving up touchdowns through the air that easily no more. On for our D line, I feel like guys that are emerging, guys are stepping up on that side of the ball too. I feel like Mesidor is probably our best interior lineman. And I feel like Jafari, the one thing that he does have, which, I don't think he's as explosive as a pass rusher as Nigel Kelly, but Jafari could drop back in coverage. That was surprising to see. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, watch him cover that running back out the backfield was definitely impressive, and break up that touchdown.
Right, that was crazy. So I feel like we're getting guys to play within their strengths in Guidry's defense, and even though once again it was a mismatch, their O-line was huge. They mentioned that their O-line was bigger than the average O-line in the NFL. Once again, it's probably one of the biggest O-lines we're gonna face all year. But we didn't let them boys block us down or anything like that. We did what we had to do. We dropped in coverage when we needed to. Even Kiko, the linebacker, we see that, of course, covering wide receivers is probably not his forte, but he still hung in there too. Still hung in there and did what he had to do. So I like it, man. I like.
Shouts out to the number 11 though. Y'all got to get some credit. The boy came in and had a game yesterday, huh?
Man, I told y'all I stopped playing with Corey. Yeah. Y'all think I'm trolling? I'm really not. Like he is going to be. Here's the crazy thing about it: if he plays at this caliber and continues to, he can be an all ACC like player playing second team.
Yeah.
Because when I heard y'all seen the Popo interview, shout out to the Popo interview. If you haven't seen it, his preparation is different. It looks like what old school Miami Hurricanes used to look like. He's not just in the linebacker room. He in the defensive lineman room too. Like, hey, I'm trying to see what y'all see. I'm trying to get like y'all. You know what I'm saying? He's telling his peers in that room, like, I know y'all faster and better than me. I get it. So I gotta go 100 miles per hour every play because I'm not gonna get on the field with y'all. Like, I'm gonna come in as a backup, and I get that, and I think that's one of the most important parts is, and Restrepo alluded to it last night, like the unselfishness of the team, like is understanding, like, yeah, you gotta play your position. I know I'm not fast as y'all, I'm not big as y'all, I'm maybe not as quick as y'all, but I'm gonna make plays when they let me in this motherfucker. Like, it's just what it is. Like, I don't have time to be doing this back and forth because I know my snaps are limited. I know I gotta make an impression every time I'm on the field, and we definitely saw that last night.
Yeah, like you just said, the most important thing you just said is it's not no more selfishness. Everybody's playing for each other, helping each other out on the field, on and off. When we spoke about a change in culture, that's probably the most thing, the biggest factor in with this team so far. Everybody's, hey man, I got your back. You know what I'm saying? You just do your part and I got your back. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's just holding each other accountable, the coaching staffs. I'm looking at this. I keep saying people talk about LT. Man, look, if y'all watch the game, I don't know if y'all not seeing LT get held in triple team. I mean, it's frustrating to him. But again, that's his job. You know what I'm saying? He's going to get double teamed. He's going to get held. You know, as long as somebody else makes the play, that's how you coach defense.
And then it doesn't help that, the guy, to your right or to your left, he out for the game. Akeem Mesidor, who they sometimes line up in their like their bowl packages, he out for the game. Like, like I said, we face some adversity, and normally, team as recent as last year, those teams fold. But KB, man, let's hear your thoughts on it, man.
So your initial question, I think we got to give Gidry props for being able to go up against Bobby Petrino and come out with a W. Bobby Petrino's a hell of an OC, and like I said the other day, I missed the prediction show, but that was going to be that was the only thing that feared me that I feared at Texas A&M. They got talent and all that stuff, but the addition of Bobby Petrino, that scared me. I was like, God dang, that's gonna be a tough one. So Gidry went head to head with one of the, I'm gonna say, all-time best, college OCs, I think. You know what I mean? And he did a good job. If you look at everything that happened, like the majority of the points they got came from us making mistakes, like on offense, mistakes on special teams. A mistake on defense is simply, the offense having an opportunity. So if we made a mistake on defense, it's still the offense one-upped us. But for the majority of that, you got the special teams miscues. He probably had one drive that he did bad, and that was like towards the end of the game. He went into like a soft zone, and they was able to drive and get down there. Then he started trying to apply pressure. I don't know why he went away from what he was doing all game, but that was just one drive. He got back to it after that. So he did a masterful job, I think, because if it weren't for those miscues, the score would have been X if it weren't for those miscues. I'm saying they got like 21 points off of miscues.
Yes, I mean, I said I was upset because they scored 33, and people were like, "Well, look, X, we gave him 14," and I totally forgot. Like, yeah, damn, we did give him 14.
We gave him 21.
We gave him 21.
Yeah, because
I feel like we gave him 21.
The left guard that jumped, that should have been called back. The touchdown he threw on the wheel route to the.
I was just saying, like, as far as when we muffed the punts and put the ball like within 20 yards for them to score. So I'm like, yeah.
I felt like we gave them. I felt like the 21st point was what I alluded to earlier when he backed off on defense and just gave them space and they just went right down the field. Then they get to the end zone pretty much. And then we started trying to apply pressure. He shouldn't have went away from that. I don't think they could have did anything after that. But also too, I look at the points like this, and I'm not gonna sit here and harp on this all night. I know it's gonna be brought up, but if Jacoby George doesn't drop that pass, the game is over at that point. I think that would have been like it, because I think that would have been 38 or 20, whatever it was. That would have been game time right there. So they wouldn't have been able to really put up nothing else because we would have just sat back there and rushed them. So Gidry, man.
You know when the game was over though? When the game was over? The game was over 4 minutes with 4 minutes left, 4.5 minutes left in the first quarter. And Jacoby George made his first catch and made a couple guys miss to get the first down, because that was our very first down that we got. And right after we got that first down, we went high tempo. The next pass was to Restrepo for 40-something yards, and then boom, we hit the end zone. That from that point on, we was off to the races. It's like the team turned on, we clicked. Dawson knew exactly what they were doing on defense, and he carved them up. And from that point on, I wish I could throw up a meme, but it was like watching what's that? The movie where the coach looks at the other sideline and sees like the little baby. I forget the name of the movie, but that's
Waterboy.
Waterboy, yeah.
Oh,
when Dawson was over there looking at Jimbo, I feel like that's what he was thinking about in his head. Like, let's go, let's line it up.
Hey man, let me ask you something. So KB just said, Gilgy on the last drive, when the last drive that they scored, he kind of like played a soft zone and allowed them to do stuff. Do you think he did that because they didn't want to put their offense back on the field and just to keep the clock going?
It could be. Obviously, we ain't on the sideline, so we don't know. We're not in that coaching what's called. But at that point, and this is what I said, and this is the beauty of that new rule. That first down rule is changing college football. These games are going by faster. It's creating an opportunity for, if you're ahead, you can really legitimately have an advantage on your side outside of the players and the plays getting called, you can now control the clock a little bit better. So there's a strong possibility that yes, that was the case. But at the same time, I think you got to go for the juggler, right? Because I think he scored a touchdown and they brought it back within 8 at one point. I think it was like 41-33. And then obviously, you don't want to give them hope. And even after the Cam thing, it's like these people want. I was upset. I was in the chat like, man, just end the game. It's a minute left. Y'all not coming back. Like, take a knee and out of respect for what happened to Cam. But obviously, Jimbo don't give a damn about none of that. He trying to win. Like, I guess.
Well, I said that too, but that was us being emotional because if you really look at it, because I said that, we was just being emotional. But if we really look at it, the game was never out of reach for Texas A&M. Let's be honest with you. Like, we had control, you know what I mean? But that game was never out of reach, man. We've seen crazier things happen. So I'm with you 100% on that, man.
Shout out to Jaden Davis too on that 2-point. They hit that 2-pointer, the one that he snapped in and it hit the ground and he just threw it up. If they hit that 2-point, it's a 3-point game.
Right.
It's a field goal game.
Yeah, that game was never out of reach. So that's why I was kind of like, what we doing this soft zone for? Like, because they got right down there, and so that game was just always in reach. You know what I'm saying? Up until the last like 2 or 3 minutes. So I think it was a lesson learned because he didn't come back out and do it again. So it's fine. I guess he thought they was going to lay down, but that's why I say if Jacoby had caught that touchdown, I think that would have made them lay down. I think that would have been it. So that would have been early. We would have been up like 38-21, something like that or whatever. And yeah, I think that would have been it.
Yeah, I think just from looking at the game, once a few of the players got banged up, I just knew they didn't really want to go back on offense. They're like, man, as long as just don't let them score, you know what I'm saying? But we, because you had Mark Fletcher was banged up.
We'll talk about injuries too. People keep asking. We're gonna talk about injuries. Give us some time.
So yes, I just think that's what I'm thinking. Like, as long as they don't score the touchdown, let's keep our offense off. You know what I'm saying? Because we really don't want to go back out there right now.
Here's a good transition point, right? All offseason we talked about and complained about, man, this team ain't got no number one wide receiver. Who's our number one wide receiver? So Chris Young asks an excellent question. And I'll start with you, Rich. Oh, actually, yeah. KB, you got it, dog.
Appreciate it. X, we had this conversation before. I think we had it in the space too. I told you our playmaker on offense was going to be who? Kobe goddamn Young. I told y'all we got a first-round pick in that room. Might not be this year, but probably next year. That's going to be our game breaker. That's going to be our – it ain't there yet. It's coming. It ain't there. I hope his knee ain't bad because he keep getting on that bike. But that's our guy right there.
Two games down, KB. You say Kobe Young is the number one. I mean, I've seen different number ones both weeks.
You saw who was the most effective with the ball in his hand, though. You saw who the big threat was.
Before I pass to the X and Rich, I'll say this. This is why the fuck we brought KB here. Not this KB. Kevin Beer. We talked about it last time he was at Miami. In one season, he had 3 500-yard receivers.
600. Let's get it right. 600.
600-yard receivers. Here's your receiving stats through 2 games. Xavier Restrepo, 11 catches for 194 yards, averaging 17.6 a catch. Jacoby George, 11 catches for 150 yards, averaging 13.6 a catch. Kobe Young, 10 catches, 154 yards, averaging 15.4 yards a catch. That's why you bring goddamn Kevin Beard back.
Right.
That's why you bring Kevin Beard back. This team does. And if you heard Restrepo in the interview, they don't care about who's the number one receiver because they all gonna eat. Because that's how KB coaches the room. Mm-hmm. They all bring something different to the table. As you can clearly, X has yet to get in the end zone. Isaiah Horton got more touchdowns than X.
I was just gonna ask you that. X ain't getting in the end zone yet.
X has not been in the end zone yet.
And he got probably.
But he got 40-yard. He had a 40-yard advantage on the rest of his teammates.
He got the most targets. And he ain't even touched the end zone yet.
You know that's gonna happen. But
you look at Hunter Renfrow, right? Hunter Renfrow was like a third or fourth round draft pick. So what X brings to the table is very valuable to the team. And I want to say this real quick with the receivers. Coming into the season, I said if we can get 3 to 4 receivers at 600 yards or better for the year, I don't need to have a 1,000-yard receiver. I don't need to have that. But here's what also happens when you have that many guys that are productive. You have guys that play their role. Kobe is that imposing guy that you got to have. You Kobe Young is that imposing guy that you got to have double teams on, that you got to look out for. That's his role. He's 6'4", 6'5". He high pointing the ball, stuff like that. But then you have X, who when it's 3rd and 6, that's the dude. When it's 3rd and 6, when you need a big play from a big time player, you go to X. Then you got Jacoby George. When you need somebody who's going to make people miss your screens and stuff like that for wide receivers, yards after catch guy, you got Jacoby George. So they came into their own in terms of the positions that they play when it comes to wide receiver. And if they continue to do that all year long, they're going to hit those 600 plus yards, and it'll be exciting to see who's that 4th receiver outside of those 3. That's going to be exciting to see who steps up to be number 4.
Yeah, that's a better question.
I love the fact that KB got those guys performing better. And like I say, from week 1 to week 2, you really still don't have a truly number 1. We could say who's number 1, but it's like, I think that was the topic when we were like, okay, well, such and such is going to lead the team in receptions. This guy's going to lead the team in yards. This guy's going to lead the team in touchdowns. Like, you're just going to have a different category of each individual doing something good. So I could care less who's number 1. As long as they getting the job done, if they're going to keep playing like that, then I'm happy.
Right. And Chalup, shout out to him. He said, we aren't even getting anything from the tight ends as of yet, or we haven't seen that explosion from them. So that's going to be
my dog, old man Cam, man. He out here snagging shit.
Hey, look, man, listen, that dude has been such a big part of this offense. I'm not going to take nothing away from that man. And I think they're probably going to start throwing him some balls, some easy balls, because nobody's going to be guarding him that much. So I think what he brings to the offense is huge. That man is out there blocking his ass off. I'm happy we got that old man, bro.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Restrepo. Shout out to X. He laid the kick out, man, on Bashard. Kick return. He laid him out. I was like, man, kicker, what you thought you was finna do? Like,
I think that, I know y'all said, some of the stuff that happened with that. I think when he hit that kicker, after just holding them to a field goal, and then the next thing was Bashard. I think that's what opened the game up, in my opinion. I think that's when the game was over. It was just all you got to do now to hold them, because that 8-point swing. I think it was 21-20 at that point.
It was 21-20. You on 21-20. I scored 28-21.
Man, that was huge, because then you put in Jimbo's head that he has to go for that 2 at some point, right? To try to tie it up. And that, like I said, man, masterful game plan. It's still early, but as so far, I think Mario hit a home run. I know people want to give him a lot of hate for Kevin Steele, who lost to Texas yesterday, and Gaddis, but I think he hit
deservedly so.
So, it's still early. Like I said, you got to beat Florida State.
I mean, it's early. You gotta beat. I don't even want to say Bethune. You gotta go dominate our next 2 games like you're supposed to. Then you get into ACC play. I think adversity is after we always have a big game. We kind of relapse after that. You know what I'm saying? So I think this is the most important part of the season now. We just had our first big game of the season. We won.
Hey, shout out to whoever made that schedule, because that shit was excellently placed. I was a little bit worried but sandwiching that between basically 4 or 3, dog shit games was perfect. Because now with all the injuries, which we'll talk about later, you get time to rest guys up. You get some rotation, get some redshirt guys to get some plays. We definitely going to see, in my opinion, a lot more Emory Williams in the next 2 games. Emphasis on the next 2 games.
I think you see both of them Thursday. You see both quarterbacks.
Yeah, I would like that. Yeah, I would like that because that's good work for somebody. I probably would give that game to Ja'Curry. That's good work for somebody. It's going to be a game where you can start at either the second quarter or halftime. Yeah, that's a lot of good work for somebody. I would probably give that game to Ja'Curry. That would be his only throwaway game. The other 3 games I would be real specific about. But I would give that to him.
That's fair.
I line TBD up for 2 drives and you out. That's it. I don't need nothing else from you. You know what I'm saying? The rest of this game is for those 2 guys. You know what I'm saying?
I'm also expecting to see our first actual look at both the new tight ends, Riley and I can't remember the guy's name.
William
Carver.
Hey.
Yeah.
Wait, let me stop you real quick, Maddie. Let me stop you real quick. Just a quick question. X, we don't have a walk-on quarterback on scholarship on we
got
the fucking roster?
2 of them.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to know that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Maddie. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Kid.
Okay.
And then I'm expecting to see Chris Johnson for the first time.
Man, you go see a whole lot of Samson. I mean, the whole freshman class is gonna play tomorrow, this Thursday. All of them playing Thursday.
Yeah.
Every last one. The only one who might not play is I think he's gonna play too. I think Robert Stanford will play also. Everybody gonna play. I mean, I don't think any of them injured, so yeah, everybody gonna play.
That's a good question in the chat. You think they're gonna redshirt Skinner?
Hell no. Motherfucker might leave.
It's a possibility.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't even play. I wouldn't play with that shit.
The thing is, it's not. Again, it's not even about people saying I want to start or he redshirting because he's not. I think the thing is, man, a lot of those, the coach want to get these kids' body developed the right way. You know what I'm saying? Skinner, you playing tight end, you just don't have a tight end body. You know what I'm saying? So it's like last year he had to play because we just was thin at tight end. You know what I'm saying? We almost thin again, but it's like, do we desperately need him out there right now?
No, I think you can be working them, but we got a lot of options. But I think you could be working them in. I'm guessing they probably got a plan for him. X, you know better than I do. But I don't know. I don't know if he needs the red shirt, but.
All right, let's transition to some defenses. Actually, before we move on to that, Rich, real quick, give me your offensive MVP for the game. And hey, we all picking different people, so don't. Let's try to spread it out a little bit.
For me, I'm gonna go with Jacoby George, and I'm gonna go with Jacoby George because Jacoby was on that fence of being some of those highly touted guys that we had in the past that didn't do anything at the U, like a Mark Pope. You don't want to call names out, but he was on the fence of being a guy like that. And coming out of high school, I remember seeing him play. Remember seeing him go, 7-on-7 tournaments, and saying, "Man, he's probably the best receiver in the class." And now he's starting to live up to that. So I hope that this is a good trajectory for him, and he becomes a Stacy Coley-like, Travis Benjamin-like player for us. So that's my MVP of the game on offense.
Okay, what you got? Offensive MVP.
I can't let Jacoby get offensive MVP. I'm sorry. That was too many mistakes, bro. Great game, but too many mistakes. But good pick, Rich. Good pick. I'm not going to go with the easy answer. I'm going to go with the offensive line. Simply because, it's obvious, how well they're doing. But I think the offensive line is where the game opened up at. And I'll tell you when, why, and where. We took a timeout going into halftime. We took a timeout after they couldn't convert. And I'm like, okay, cool. That means we're going to be aggressive. They kick this field goal. They miss it. We get the ball. We line up, and I can see the play. And I'm like, oh, jeez, we finna run. Why do we use our timeout if we just finna sit out here and run the ball, right? I think they were content to just run the ball and see what happens, which I didn't like at all. Gave the ball to Parrish. The line opened that up. Parrish ran for about 12 yards. That changed the whole trajectory of the game. After that, Dawson said, okay, fuck this. Let's go. Then we go to slanging the rock. We never stopped slanging the rock after that. So I think everyone for the offensive line creating that momentum going into halftime and just giving us nah, man, let's go for it. What the hell are we trying to run the ball for? I think that was it. We just took off from there. We just started slanging the rock. Fuck, not that we just abandoned the run game, but we was like, fuck the run game. Let TVD be TVD. And from there we took off. And then they kept him clean. They gave running lanes. You know what I'm saying? That's a physical defensive line we was going up against. And them boys held their own. They did a damn good job. You know what I mean? So MVP go to the whole offensive line.
X, what you got?
Tyler Van Dyne, of course. Rich took my guy, man. You know, you gotta leave that to me, Rich. That's my guy. Tyler Van Dyne, he did that out of body experience. Like I said, like if he does that, we win. Like we gonna win, and that's what he went out there to do. So.
I don't know how none of y'all said it, but hey, shout out to y'all. I don't know what y'all talking about, and I agree with definitely agree with KB because that muff from Jacoby was devastating. But it wasn't as devastating as Tyreek's last year. But it was damn close.
It was devastating, but then he came back and made up for it.
Oh, for sure.
He dropped another touchdown right after that. That's why I couldn't give him the MVP.
Exactly.
That boy should have. I couldn't give it to him.
The offensive MVP is by far Xavier Restrepo. This isn't even for a debate.
Oh shit!
Every single third down that we need, like there were crucial third downs because mind you, at the beginning of the game, he threw one. Tyler kind of shorted it on one of our first third downs, and he missed it, and that would have got him yards. But when you watching him catch that ball in space, he's waiting for his blockers. He's finding out where to go. He's bouncing off tacklers. Last year, I saw somebody saying in the group me, we was talking last year about how shout out to 305 in the chat. We have 305 people in the chat. We were talking last year about how he would always like lay down or fall down, like he would avoid contact. That's another thing. Shout out to KB when he talked about them being physical. These dudes are dropping shoulders now. They're bouncing off tackles. Where last year, Gaddis had them boys just like catch a ball. For some reason, Xavier's tripping. Like not tripping like I'm talking about physically like tripping, like he's falling over himself or he's laying down on the ground, not getting that yak. This year it's like I'm bouncing off people, I'm getting open field, I'm waiting for my block to develop, getting those crucial first downs. That catch that he had on the sideline on his helmet, that ball was a gorgeous ball. That's why I was like, yeah, I can't keep calling this man Tyler no more. That catch himself on third down, I was like, I can't keep calling him Tyler. Like he got to be TBD. He shut me up. And that's what I said. That was immaculate. The catch was even better. So yeah, definitely Xavier Restrepo for me, man. But
I want to say this about Restrepo real quick. When I saw him during practice, I thought that he was his body looked way different. He almost looked built like a running back. So he's definitely been in the weight room between last year and this year for sure.
He's a very Restrepo is a very intangible guy. You know what I'm saying? He has a lot of intangibles out there in his game. The thing I really do want somebody else doing returns because we have the explosion to do it. But I see why he stays on kickoffs and he needs to stay on kickoffs because this dude, I don't think I've ever seen a more effective returner as a lead blocker. Every time we have a big return, it's Restrepo leading the way in some way. And even out there when we're slinging the ball around, you see him running downfield looking for a guy to block. You know what I mean? He does all those intangible things. Not to call him, that little guy that just is effort. No, he knows how to play the game. He plays it well. He's physical enough. Shout out to Restrepo, man.
All right, so I think we beat offense to death. We hit every phase. Let's transition to defense. X.
Big game, Dennis Williams. That's it. That's all I gotta say.
Before we get that deep in a second, let's talk about let's cover down this defensive line. What did you see? Barring some losses that we had, which I don't think are super devastating. We will do an injury update later on, but definitely were felt later on in the game. What would you say about that defensive line and their effort?
They doing a good job. The biggest concern was, the D line not gonna be able to stop the run. We're not big, but they're doing a good job. They're holding up, not allowing the guys to get to the second level, which is important. Um, we didn't have. I mean, again, we didn't have a lot of tackles for loss. We didn't have no sacks, but they're doing a good job. Then we was missing some guys yesterday too, and at one point I was like, uh-oh, like you just don't want to go that deep in the depth when you're missing guys in this type of game. You know what I'm saying? Because one play can really fuck it all up. So, but they did a good job yesterday.
Rich, what you got? Well, actually, KB, then we'll hit Rich.
No, I need to see more from the D line. It's good. It's doing a good job and it's holding its own, like X just say. But I got to see some more. We got to start getting home. We'll probably talk a little bit more in depth of that, but they got to start getting home. They holding up against the run. They doing okay. I don't know if it's just we need the bodies, but I think that's the one thing that's keeping our defense from just looking like 2017 is what we're getting out of these tackles. I'm not saying we're not getting anything out of them or that they're bad. It's just we waiting on that explosion, that guy that's busting through the middle, that guy that's taking the double teams while still being effective. We just need that. We need those guys to get home, but they're playing they're playing good. They're doing what they can. They're playing damn good.
What you got, Rich?
I agree with KB. I think we do need to see a little bit more from our D line. And part of it may not be their fault. It just may be the bodies type of situation. But just looking at the stats, Akeem Mesidor had 3 tackles total. Then Jafari has 2 tackles. Then the next lineman on the board with tackles is Nigel Kelly with 1, Leonard Taylor with 1, Ruben Bain with 1. I think if Mesidor doesn't get out of the game, he probably has double that in tackles, maybe 5 or 6 tackles. I think that him getting out of the game and Branson Dean getting out of the game does affect Leonard Taylor too. So I think Leonard Taylor has more tackles if those guys are healthy and they stay in the game. There's a little bit more to be desired, but I think what is to be desired is maybe something we can't fix now. It's something that we have to fix in recruiting, which is having that physically imposing D tackle in the middle. I don't think we have it now, but that's not slowing us down from doing what it is that we need to do, which is get to the quarterback.
Here's a fun fact. There were 4 total QB hurries last night. And only one of them was from a defensive lineman, Jafari Harvey. The other 3 were from all cornerbacks: Jaden Davis, to Corey Couch, and Darren Porter Jr.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, but we're asking people to be in coverage, and we want our guys to be in coverage because, and we're gonna talk on these DBs in secondary in a second. But when we want that stuff to happen, it can't be happening from the secondary because they're supposed to be out covering. Not saying the same thing wrong, and we know Gidry likes to get very aggressive and blitz his cornerbacks.
Chaotic, man. He called. Look, I said it before the season started. I say, man, it's going to be a lot of pressure, not necessarily from the defensive line, but it's going to be a lot of pressure regardless. And you see it, like the stunts he was running, got cornerback coming from this way, the cornerback coming from that way, and I still don't think he like really got into his playbook yet.
Yeah. As far as tackles for loss, we had no sacks. I think X just said that. We had 5 tackles for loss for 17 yards. 2 of them were Jaden Davis. 1 was Corey Flagg. Number 11 on your program, number 1 in your heart. 1 was Akeem Mesidor and 1 was Wesley Basaint. So yeah, JT, man, you a Hall of Famer. Joe, you an NFL guy. We need more, right? Obviously, the next two games, I think Bethune-Cookman, like Wayne and Bain, are both going to get their first two career sacks. Like I think that's a foregone conclusion at this point. But we definitely need, as those guys get what's called, we need to start seeing like that pressure getting up, running these stats up, things like that. Linebackers. Rich, how you feel about the linebacker core as a whole yesterday?
They are playing their butt off. They're exuding a lot of effort. They're covering guys, even though sometimes with the mismatches we getting penalties because of that. But they're still covering. So Francisco, he's the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's the fourth leading tackler on the team with 6 tackles. Then right after that, you got Corey Flagg at 6 tackles. So you got Francisco, 6 tackles, Corey Flagg, 6 tackles. Then you got KJ Cloyd with 4 tackles. Then Wesley Basaint with 2 tackles. So they're doing their thing. And the thing is, it's not about the number of tackles. It's about how you impact the game. Basaint, when he shot through his gap like a cannon and met Amari Daniels before he even got to the hole, that sent a message. It was a very impactful play. Francisco just continues to be impactful. Just him being out there, he's impactful. I feel like this is way different than last year. This is way different. I feel great about him throughout the rest of the season.
KB, what you got?
I need more out of the linebacker position. Corey Flagg was excellent, and I think Corey Flagg is always going to be excellent as long as you keep him going downfield. If it's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, he can be on the field. But when we get in the 3rd and longs, I don't want to see him overexposed, and that's what makes people get on Corey Flagg's case. He's too slow. Yeah, but it's not his fault. They're asking him to cover receivers and tight ends downfield. If you keep him going forward, his grades are always going to be high. You know what I'm saying? So he's playing well, taking up blocks and all that good stuff, playing exceptionally well. Wesley keeps flashing. You know what I mean? Wesley looks good out there. Kiko had a bad game. You know what I'm saying? I was expecting to see a lot more from him. You know what I'm saying? I thought he was going to be very explosive. But I think it's just kinks. I think it's working out. The kinks getting comfortable. I think that penalty probably slowed him down. You know what I'm saying? I need to see more out of Kiko, because the linebackers, they play on a string. So it's all of them. So if we can get him, you know what I'm saying, going forward, looking better, they'll be okay. But there's more. There's a lot of talent there. So I want to see a little bit more out of the linebackers.
X, what you got?
I like the linebacker core. They doing a good job. I mean, we gotta just face the facts and just understand in today's trajectory of football, linebackers aren't able to cover wide receivers. They're not supposed to. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. So if you got a linebacker covering the receiver and they get beat, don't be mad. Just say, okay, well, he ain't supposed to be covering that guy. But yeah, the linebacker group, the defense did a good job. I'm not saying they excellent, they elite, but yeah, they did a good job. I'm not disappointed. I'm not disappointed with nobody as of now. I mean, the D line, because they aren't getting the sacks and the tackles for loss, but I'm happy.
Yeah, and Kiko looked bad because of trying to cover. He looked. The penalty that he had one on a coverage. Of course, the other one was not hearing the whistle, but I think we saw him a lot more in coverage, and he's trying to cover a 5-star guy who's carving up our defense, and we're trying to find a way to stop him. So, that's going to be a mismatch that he's not going to win 8 times out of 10. So,
and this is new. We got to remember, I don't know what you probably can speak to this. I don't know what they played in Washington, but these are a whole bunch of different fronts and multiple looks. He's got to get comfortable. And so that's why I say I think guys are still just working out the kinks. I think the way we look, the way we're set up is we're going to get better as the season goes. I think it's just little stuff they got to work out. So this is a new front for him. This is a whole brand new front of guys in front of him, and we doing all these different looks. I don't know what they ran in Washington, so he's got to get comfortable to make his way. So,
for me, and then we'll transition. Linebackers still leave to me a lot to be desired. It's just the inconsistency, and here's what I mean. There was a play last week where K4 was on the field, right? K4, it was an option replay, and I can tell from the call that the mic was supposed to seal the running back if he gets the ball, and the Will or the Sam takes the running back, and they executed it beautifully. I think you saw like K4 hit the backfoot and absolutely clap the quarterback, and then they jumped on what's called. Same thing yesterday. Connor Weidman does it, and Wesley's in the game. Wesley misses the assignment, and Connor Weidman walks in. And that's just a week-to-week thing, like you said, KB, where they're just working out the kinks because it's the same play. It's the same look. It's just on the goal line instead of in the game, right? Those things got to get fixed. And like you said, we got to continue to work on those things. Understand that teams are going to do it when they have mobile quarterbacks, and stay and stick to your assignment. It's something I'm sure they're going to break down, probably going to slap on the wrist, during a film session, either last night or today. But we'll get right. We'll get right. So let's transition into, I think, probably arguably the unit of the night. Let's talk about these DBs, starting with corner. Rich, tell me what you got with corners.
Man, God, where do you start? Are we just talking about corners or corners and safeties?
Just corners. We'll transition to safeties.
Well, we just talking about corners. I mean, it's obvious. Jaden is a corner, right? He was all over the field. I thought linebacker, corner. I mean, he was just doing everything.
We'll call him a corner.
So I mean, we'll call him a corner. That's like the he's number 2 in tackling behind another guy who's in the secondary. I ain't gonna say no names, but he had 8 tackles, man. Another guy who keeps stepping up, and I know that he did start yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, but he keeps stepping up, and I think it's because of the competition in that room, and it's Daryl Porter. Daryl Porter is stepping up, man. You saw him with the quarterback hurry. He was great in coverage, and I think Jaden is probably going to be a very high draft pick, and Daryl Porter is stepping up and doing his job. So the DB's balled out for sure.
KB, what you got?
who's our starting corners?
We don't got none according to Jaden Davis.
X, who the starting corners?
Yesterday, the starter cornerback, the corners was Daryl Porter, Jaden Davis, and Corey Couch.
Okay. Yeah, the corners they are all over the place.
My bad. No.
Coverage wise.
Not Couch. Devontae. Not Couch. Okay.
So coverage wise, there's some things that you ain't gonna shut everybody out. You know what I'm saying? Devontae has some bad breaks. But that's because it's a guy that's 6'6" in front of you, man. That's kind of tough. You know what I'm saying? Outside of that, the corners are all over the place. They're covering well. Man, they giving people hell in that backfield on those blitzes and things. I'm so happy to see those blitzes back because that was the Corey Couch specialty 2 years ago under Manny. That boy coming off that edge was money every time. And they brought it back and they're letting them do it, but they're letting the other cornerbacks do it too. And I think they really get into the game when they're allowed to do that. From game to game, people are going to say Couch is bad, Couch is, good, because teams are going to go at Couch. So he's going to get a lot of action. You can't not, keep everybody from catching the ball. So you're going to see him getting caught on sometimes. He's a small guy, but he's a willing tackler. Even if he's not a great tackler, he's definitely a willing tackler. He covers, he's running, he does everything that he's supposed to do. But teams are going to go after him. He hasn't been picked on yet. They've been going after him, but being picked on means you're getting molested every play. And that's not happening. Couch is a fighter. The other corners, everybody's playing well. Everybody's coming up making plays. I'm proud of the cornerback group. we still need somebody that's elite, but they fit this defense perfectly.
X, what you got?
All right, I'm gonna read off some stats for the three corners that played mostly yesterday. Jaden Davis in 5 targets, he gave up 4 receptions and allowed 73 yards. Porter in 7 targets, gave up 3 receptions and allowed 21 yards. Couch 8 targets, gave up 5 receptions, allowed 41 yards. And 30. Okay, yeah. So and Jaden Davis had to guard their best receiver. That's he gave up 73 yards to their best receiver, Stewart.
So how do you so break that down for us? How do you see that? Good, bad, ugly, what?
I mean, it's good. Stewart is a big receiver who could run. I think they threw the ball to him almost like I think I seen something that said like almost 18 times.
Yeah, I was about to say some of those passes that the other corners gave up outside of Jaden Davis might have been from Stewart as well.
Yeah, I'm finna read out the targets right now that they gave him. 18 targets.
Damn.
And Jaden Davis guarded only gave up 73, so he had 142 yards. It's not great, but goddamn, they threw the ball to the man 18 times.
Mm-hmm. And that was a lot of, and once again, don't forget, there's a point again when we had the lead. We played a lot of off bail technique, soft zone coverage, playing just the cloud flats, stuff like that. It wasn't nothing like we were coming up and pressing. They did play a lot of press coverage, and I don't remember him catching a lot of stuff when he was in press. A lot of stuff was underneath hooks, hitches, things like that. That's where he was getting a lot of his yardage from when they were trying to play catch up. So I'm not going to say call it elite, but to give up that much, to be targeted that many times, and to not have somebody score as often as that, like that, I think that's definitely elite.
As long as it was 44 yards, as long as catch was 44 yards, that was on.
Was that the Brown catch?
I think that was the Brown catch. That was that was the Brown catch.
That means in theory he gave up 30 yards total.
But I think it was 37.
Okay.
37.
But
still, he 142 yards, 18 targets, no touchdowns. And you look at the rest of the offense, the next person had 38 total yards receiving.
He definitely figured out later in the game that Evan Stewart was like that, so he had to start kind of feeding him a little bit. But all in all, I'm not thoroughly impressed, but I'm comfortably impressed with the corner unit. Like I said, like Kyle said, and I said earlier, you know what I'm saying, having those quarterback pressures, even if they weren't necessarily sacks, definitely threw Weigman off. One of them was a backside pressure. If he gets there, oh my God, I think that's a fumble. I think it was DP.
I thought he was going to get there.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to get.
I think it was a touchdown he threw, but he was on the backside pressure. And if he hits what's called, he's fumbling that ball. There was another one yesterday where he jumped he had the only. I'm tired of watching teams somehow have pass breakups and bat down balls that Tyler throwing at 6'4", but for some reason we can't do that to nobody else. So there was one play where Jaden Davis was blitzing instead of he kept his head up and he jumps the route when he throws it. Good pass breakup. Mario credited him. He said if he jumps a second early, he probably jumps it, picks it off, and then he's to the crib just like Bandy in 17. So, which ironically he brought up in the post-game press conference. That was the last time he was at Miami as a recruit. This is the first time he played. Well, second time that he saw a crowd like that in HardRock since Bandy had that pick against Notre Dame. So shout out to him for referencing that. Shout out to Bandy, man. Let's transition now to safeties, man.
Okay, so even though Jaden Davis he gives up that 73 yards, but he has tackle for loss. Mm-hmm. He has 8 total tackles, a forced fumble that the crowd was rocking when he hit that boy. When he hit that boy, the stadium was like, ooh. So I mean, again, I could give him like a B plus, man. You know, even though you gave him 73 yards, man, you had Jaden Davis had a damn good game.
For sure. Let's transition to safeties now. KB, we'll start with you. Tell me what you saw with the safeties.
Safeties had good play. I'm gonna feed off what X just said. Everybody was talking about you talking about Jaden Davis hitting and having the crowd rocking. James Williams set that tone. I think James need to get some more strength because he was coming in trying to lay some wood sometimes, and it really wasn't that effective. But he was making the hits. But he set the tone because he was flying. He was coming in. He was throwing it back. He was trying to deliver those blows. He delivered a couple of them. But him trying to deliver those blows, now I'm seeing everybody trying to get into it. So he was a tone setter. And I saw Cam come in and deliver some blows, but James was the first one out there, you know, setting tones and stuff. So shout out to him, props to him. There's still a lot more I want to see out of James. But the safeties were the safeties. They're a solid group. When I say solid, I don't mean solid as in regular, but I mean like they're going to do their job for the most part. And Cam is going to be Cam. Got him another turnover and everything. Cam is going to be Cam. I'm so glad we got that Mr. Reliable as an all-star. You know what I'm saying? But the safeties, they all played well, even the backups. Everybody played well.
Rich, what you got?
Yeah, I agree. James was a tone setter. You could tell that James is the emotional leader, along with it's James. If James is the emotional leader, Cam is the spiritual leader, right? I say that because James, you know, he was talking a lot, costed us to not get off the field when we clearly had a 3 and out. But that came, if he was the only person doing it and the secondary didn't rally behind him and also step their game up and start making those big hits, I feel like it would have costed the team more. But I think because they rallied behind him and they also stepped their game up. You had Cam with the interception. Cam was always going to do his thing. You got James doing his thing. You got Jaden doing his thing, which was a pleasant surprise. I just feel like that's one of the most solid parts of our team. Even when you start to rotate in some of the backups, that's just the most solid part of our team. One of the most on our defense.
X, what you got?
The safety unit played like the best safety unit in the nation, as everybody keeps saying. James Williams, I seen somebody in the chat earlier say he improved his tackling. James Williams tackling wasn't the issue. He had a horrible shoulder where he couldn't tackle. But so, you know, I guess if you want to say he improved his tackling because of that, yeah. He played lights out yesterday, man. I think he took it personal, man. I think he took it personal because, he came out with a statement. He said, man, you know, a lot of the kid recruits asking them, like, you know, what you think about us attending Miami. He like, man, look, I was in the same boat as y'all, man. I wanted to win, you know what I'm saying? But at some point, I had to figure out I want to be a part of Miami winning, and which is why I chose to come to Miami.
Right.
And so he took it personal, like, man, y'all doing all this talking about fans and this, and we ain't gonna beat y'all this year, maybe not this year. And he like, yeah, nah, okay, I got you. We gonna see tomorrow on the field, and he showed it. Cam, like y'all say, Cam is big. Cam making turnovers. The backup safeties got in, and you know they did their thing. Again, like I told everybody, I said, man, this defense is designed for those safeties, those two guys right there.
So before, because I want to transition to Cam, but Sterling asked this question, so I'll put it up here. I know the answer, but we'll address it and then we'll transition into the injury report. But question for the panel: is it a big ask for a guy to coach both cornerbacks and safeties?
Say it again. What's the question?
It's on the screen. Is it a big ask for a guy to coach both cornerbacks and safeties?
No, because
he doesn't need to though.
He coaches the cornerbacks. Coach Gilgy coaches the safeties.
Yeah, right. He doesn't need to.
That's what I figured the answer would be.
He's listed as the safety. He's listed as the DB coach, but he coaches the cornerbacks and Gildry coaches the safeties.
Yeah,
Not to
I think
mention that
Gidry is not like Manny where he can't coach more than one thing. You got a guy who knows how to coach multiple positions, so he can coordinate and coach the safeties. And if he's doing a hell of a job so far, then I wouldn't change that recipe at all.
So I see his second comment. He
yeah,
said he's saying on game day adjusting. So I'm guessing handling the business on the sideline. Yeah, Adai is gonna do that, of course. You know what I'm saying? But again, the safeties coach is still there too. So when Gidry sees something wrong, he can call his safeties over. So it's kind of a the question doesn't need an answer because we have a cornerbacks coach and a safeties coach, and Adai can do both, but it's not necessary.
I'll say this too. There's speculation, and we are kind of expecting for a guy to get called up by somebody to be a DC at some point. His contract is set to be up after the season. So you want that. We rooting here on Caneville. We rooting for DVD to show what he got at FIU, and then we pull DVD back. Obviously, an elite recruiter off the field, and was under the tutelage of not only a die, but T. Rob for a little bit, who is looking a little shaky, baby, at Alabama, but that's another conversation for another day. So he has a skill set, right, that he can build off of, and he's been coached by two of the better DB coaches in America. So that's what we want on Caneville. We're not saying that's happening. And if for some reason a die isn't extended or doesn't get, maybe he puts his reel out, he doesn't pull back the type of fish he wants to as a DC, we sign him again. But ideally we want a die to stay. But we would like to see if a die does get a better opportunity, which Mario's all about. We call back DVD and have him coach up our cornerback room. It's a good caveat point. So real quick update on Cam Kitchens. I know y'all been asking about it. Streeter called me after the game. Cam has been reported having a concussion. Y'all might have seen that on social media. Not too surprising, which was surprising because when I saw the hit live, the first thing I saw him do was start kind of trying to make a ball with his fist or ball his fist up, which is typically what people do when they are trying to see if they got feeling somewhere, right? Shout out to the medical staff for giving them their privacy. James kind of spoke on it, said that he was talking, he was alert, he was awake. Some people have reported on TV that they didn't see any of his limbs moving. This is why I hate reporters and media sometimes, because sometimes they come out and say shit that they don't actually have anything to stand on. You 50 yards away, but you tell them, I don't see any limbs moving. You can't see any limbs moving because teammates crowd around him. Nonetheless, gets to the hospital. He was airlifted. People were freaking out about that. When you have somebody on a stretch like that, based off of Miami traffic, that's normally the way that it goes. We just haven't seen it in a long time. Got to the hospital, got scanned. Everything came back normal. We saw that. You saw the picture thrown up to you. Took him in for an MRI just to make sure there's nothing. MRIs are full body scans. MRI to make sure there's nothing else that they not seeing from the outside looking in. MRI came back negative. So for right now, just being reported as concussion. He is good. He's in good spirits. So there's that. With that being said, X, go ahead and give us the rest of the injury report, please.
Nothing major. Players just got dinged up, and they kept them out. Najee Kelly, Mark Fletcher, Mesidor. Well, the Mesidor thing is being monitored a lot closer. We know he's one who just be banged up a lot. Other than that, no major injuries to anybody. Should expect everybody else to play outside of Cam. Maybe Mesidor might not play this week. Arroyo, I think they're not going to let him play this week. I mean, it's Bethune, so I don't think they let him play this week either. So no major injuries.
Like I said, excellently placed game. Because you're going to have a physical. They got beat up on their sideline too. So they didn't come out here. Unscathed. but they definitely had some injuries and some things too. Not saying that's what we're looking for because we don't want anybody to get injured. We want to be healthy on both sides because we got a whole season to play. But definitely to hear that some guys just had some dingers. You talk about Fletcher?
Yeah, I said Fletcher. Yeah, they kept him out.
Someone asked about Branson Dean. You said something about Dean?
Oh, okay. I didn't mention him. He was out. He left. Was no major injury from that one from what we was told so far.
Just things that precautionary. As a head coach, big picture, you got to look like, okay, what do I gain from continuing to play this person if we got to leave? We got control. If my guys are getting after, yeah, we have no sacks per se, but if I can sit a guy out and then know I could get him time to get him rested up. Because if you remember, in the spring game we had a ton of injuries, and I'm not gonna say who, but some of the people ain't even recovered yet. You know what I'm saying? So definitely something that we're monitoring. We don't think that anybody's gonna be like completely out for the season. Knock on wood, but we definitely gonna say some guys dinged up. But you got 2 games, in Temple and in Bethune-Cookman that you could rest guys up, get your young guys some reps. Definitely expect to see guys, like Bobby Washington, Popo, Marcellus Pulliam, Jaden Wayne, Ruben Bain. We're going to see a lot of them guys get some snaps, and that's what you want, right? You want those games. You want to keep them healthy too, but you want to get those guys those meaningful game reps so that they can, if they got to – shout out to Bain too. Bain had to play a lot last night. He had to step up. I saw him getting held too and all that stuff, but he did his thing. So shout out to them. And yeah, you also get to see a lot of the other receiving core and stuff like that. So last segment, then we're gonna get up out of here, man, because football gonna start, and some of y'all want to watch these Dolphins. We'll talk about stock up, stock down. This was a segment recommended by Kyle. So Kyle, you started off. Give me 2 guys on a guy on offense, guy on defense, stock up, stock down, and a guy on 2 guys on offense, defense, guy stock up, offense, defense, guy stock down.
Okay, defense. I'm gonna go stock up. Jaden Davis. I mean, it ain't a whole lot you got to say. I'm gonna give him his stock up because now I think we added a second playmaker back there in the secondary. I mean, there's other guys on that defense, but to go ahead and give the label, I think I can go ahead and give him his label. I think Couch. I think Porter. I think they're coming, and maybe Harvey. But I'm going to give Davis that second playmaker back there. To give a stock down, I really hate to do it after a game like this. I'm just going to go to interior D-line. I can't give you actually, no, I'll take it back. I'm going to take that back. I'm going to go with Kiko. Kiko had a bad game, and I think it's just a bad game. So I'm going to leave that at that. Offense, stock up. Ooh, I got to go with TVD because he didn't get a chance to really play his first game. So we judging him off of last year. We saw what happened last year. So my boy he's getting his little Van Dime's name back. So I'm gonna give him stock up. Stock down. Man, that's a tough one, ain't it? It's tough when you got to sit up here and think who's stock down on offense. Boy, that is a great problem to have.
Because you always
if I have to go stock down, that's true. But if I'm gonna go, damn. I can't give you a stock down. I was gonna go Jacoby, but I can't even do that, man. The man made just to give an answer. I'm gonna say Jacoby because he was real shaky yesterday at some pivotal points. But it's even hard to give him that because the boy had 3 touchdowns. So just to give an answer, I'm gonna go with George.
On this segment, we allowed to say we can say the same answer if we need to because there's only so many people But yeah, Rich, what you got? Stock up, stock down, stock up. Offense, defense, stock down, offense, defense.
I'm going to go on defense first for stock up. Stock up James Williams with 9 total tackles, being that emotional leader. He made some money. So his stock definitely went up for the NFL draft. So literally stock up to him. Stock down, I'm going to go with Kiko as well at linebacker. And the only reason he's a stock down is because of the expectation from him based on what he did game 1, based on him starting over Flag. I'm going to go ahead and say stock down, but it's not because he's a bad player or he really was bad during that game. On offense, stock up, I'm going to go with Shannon Dawson. We haven't given him enough credit during this show, and stock up to him because this man, like I said, man, looking at him all game and the way he was looking at that opposing sideline, like, yeah, let me take that, and just giving it to him. I got to go stock up for him. Stock down, once again, same thing, but I'm gonna give stock down to another Maui Goa brother. I'm gonna give it to CC because of the 3 penalties that he had, but he had his hands full. So this was he was damn near going against lineman that was as big as him. So as a freshman, so once again, it's not because he's a bad player. It's because he faced some adversity and did, have some had the 3 holding calls. So I got to give him a stock down. And shout out to IOD Squad. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. That's where you can get your stock plays, your option plays. So shout out to IOD Squad.
X, what you got? Stock up, stock down.
Oh man, stock up defensively. I start off offensively. Only one.
Yeah, we can share answers. Ed. He said we can share answers.
Yeah, we can share answers on this.
Oh, okay.
You can have more than one. You can have more than one.
I mean, stock up, TVD. Stock up TVD. Stock up 2 is Restrepo. Those 2 guys. They played. I mean, TVD had their game this day, and Restrepo continues to just be a reliable source. You know what I'm saying? So he's the type of guy NFL teams say, dang, he fell to the 6th round, but we know he's reliable. You know what I'm saying? And he could be have a 10-year career just because he's reliable. Stock down. That's hard. Even though Francis had the penalties and stuff like that, I mean, he's a true freshman. And he's on paper, he played against the best defensive lineman ever. You know what I'm saying? The best defensive line, but I get to him, I guess. But it's one game. You know what I'm saying? He has 3 more years to prove that he's the best. You know what I'm saying? So I give that to him. Defense. I would stock down. I'm gonna start with stock down. I think I'm expecting a lot more from LT. That's my boy, but I'm expecting a lot more from LT. Stock up. I want to give it to James Williams. Okay, I go 2. I say James, and then I say Jafari Harvey. Stock up. Harvey is basically telling everybody, I'm your 3-4 linebacker. If you got a 3-4 defense, get me. He's showing everybody
That's fair. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, two weeks in a row, he's been playing his biggest. Well, he had a sack week 1, but he's made 2 pass coverage plays 2 weeks in a row. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely. All right, I'll finish it off. Shout out to 321 in the chat, man. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Please don't be a hater.
Hold on. Did we hit that? Did we hit that 1,000 mark yet?
I'm pretty sure we did.
Yes, we did.
No.
Hold on.
Page. Hold on.
Stock up to all the villains then. Hey, stock up to all the villains, stock up to all the subscribers, man. Y'all helping us move fast. And we need that to stay in the algorithm so y'all don't be saying y'all didn't get no alerts or whatever. YouTube will do us dirty if we don't stay in the algorithm. So man, stock up for all y'all, man. We appreciate that.
So 1.01K subscribers, man.
So here he is right here. Okay, we had 1,000. I'm going to give away 5 Caneville shirts to 5 subscribers who are subscribed to both channels, Footballville and Caneville YouTube. You have to be subscribed to both. Subscribed to both. And you have to attend the game Thursday night. That's the only way you get your shirt. I am not mailing out shirts. So 5 local guys, or if you come in town, you can get your shirt Thursday We'll pick some names. I guess Tuesday when we record on Tuesday, we'll pick the 5 names. I have the shirts ready for you, pressed up on Thursday.
Yes, sir. There it is. Shout out to y'all, man, for helping us hit this this milestone. We do it for y'all, you know what I'm saying? So we appreciate y'all. Once again, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Just because you hit 1,000, we want to stay at 1,000. We try to move this thing up. You know what I'm saying? Stock up, stock down. Let's start with offense. Stock up. Y'all know me. I'm critical of TVD. Stock is definitely up, and that's not just me. I'm sure NFL scouts were drooling what they saw last night. I said it in the preparation for the game, like we go as he goes, and he clearly proved that last night. Running game wasn't meh, but it definitely wasn't. It wasn't as consistent as we saw in week 1. Definitely expecting to see it pick up in these next 2 games. Stock down offense. I'm not gonna give anybody stock down. I don't feel like I would be whatever I say Francis, but it's like once again that's Zion Nelson against Florida a few years back in 2018. You know what I'm saying? But way different. And like a lot of people in the comments have been saying, I take him holding all day. If Tyler get time back there, you know what I'm saying? They held us, and we barely got any calls for that. So, if not any, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm not going to hold against the kid. He was doing what he had to do to protect his quarterback. That's why he came here. I'm here for it. Stock up on defense. What do I want to say?
Corey Flag, just say it, Mitty. Damn. Yeah.
I ain't gonna say that, man. Like I said, he's one of those guys that's definitely gonna be a fantastic depth player. He's gonna help lead that second unit, and that's huge. But it's not stock up because he did his thing. Yeah, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, man, Jaden Davis, man. I just think Jaden Davis, yeah, Jaden Davis. The way he flashed in so many different areas is hard to not see that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't see it very much in week 1. And so I was kind of concerned, but yeah, definitely huge for him. Stock down on defense. Surprisingly enough, it's going to be Jadais Richard. Now, I'm like, why y'all saying that? Like, highly touted. We heard, that last scrimmage, last couple of scrimmage, he's strapping shit, and then we got a 6'3" receiver catching a pass in a 6'6" receiver catching a pass in the end zone. Like, I just haven't seen him flash, right? For all the camp reports that I heard about him, everything I heard about him, how vaunted he was supposed to be because of his size and what he's able to do. This was the game, in my opinion, where you showcase him, right? You stick him on that 6'6" receiver, or the bigger guys, the tight ends. Like I think they had a 6'6", 260-pound tight end that caught a couple passes. The one that dragged James for a couple yards, he dragged him for a first down. That's where
Did he play? I didn't see him. Did he play?
He got credit for 1 assisted tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Was it on special teams though?
I don't know. It just says assisted tackle.
I didn't see him.
But once again, that's the point I'm trying to make. For all the stuff we heard coming out of camp, it's like I expected them to hold some guys back. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna go Devontae Brown. That was gonna be the easy path, just because he got blurred a little bit last night. But my biggest thing that I love that I don't see from this defense is dudes running butt naked behind the defense,
right,
catching wide open passes that we saw against Middle Tennessee State. Right, that's not happening. I don't see guys getting behind our DBs and our corners and our safeties, and that's huge. But Jadais Richards, I want to see some more from him in the next couple of weeks. I want to see him step up, and I want to see what all the hype was about in camp. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's it for us. Fellas, y'all got anything else to add before we get up out of here? We got an hour.
We got to put one guy we left off that we got to give props to, the punter, because I was scared. X had me worried about the punting.
Facts.
Maybe I still should be.
That first point had me nervous. That first for him.
They did. And then,
yes,
hey, Maddie. And then once we got it blocked too, I was like, oh shit. But then,
yeah, look. But
stock up for Brashad Smith, man. Brashad Smith has been good on special teams so far.
Yeah,
he's the only person I want to see back there. If I'm being honest with you, love Restrepo, love you to death, my guy. But there's a couple of them where, one, he just caught a couple of these punts and fair caught some of these stuff that's like, dog, it don't make no sense. Like that bounce, see what it does. And then there's other ones where he's turning around telling Brashad, and it's like, dog, if Brashad got that, like, and you're good at sealing that hole that's gonna break him, man, let him turn that shit up, man. Like, don't let him cook. You know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't gonna get in the field a lot because you taking the primary slot spot. Let him cook on special teams. That's another weapon. You know what I'm saying? Like, as you obviously see when he let him go and he did his job, Brashad is dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So definitely want to see Brashad Smith some more on special team. I would only want to see him field the ball, if I'm being honest. You know what I'm saying? Jacoby, love you too, dog, but that's not your forte. You know what I'm saying? X, not bad, but a lot to be desired. So yeah, definitely let Brashad cook.
Brashad is my option.
His what?
Is my option play. So we could, for special teams, that's the option play. Who's that player of the game on special teams? That'll be the option play.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna push back on Jacoby George. Jacoby George was excellent on punt returns last year. I think he made a mistake. I'm not gonna say he had a bad game. He had two really bad moments. So I'm fine with him being back there on punt return. I like him back there. If he messes up again, that's a different story. But I'm fine with him being back there personally.
That's about it, ladies and gentlemen.
Did the AP poll drop already? I thought it dropped around like.
Nah, it ain't dropped yet. It ain't dropped.
Okay. Yeah, I think what y'all been looking at is like a power ranking or something like that. We're not ranked yet. We still got some time. I think
the AP poll dropped. You're thinking about the coaches poll. The coaches poll dropped later on.
So the AP poll did drop. So we all ranked now.
Yeah, I'm trying to let me pull it up now. Let me see.
I was trying to find out. I don't see it.
They still have Bama at number 3.
Yeah, this isn't.
So there's no way the poll is dropped in if they still at 3.
It's saying 1-0. It says that they lost, but it still has them 1-0. So this isn't official yet, and I'm on the AP site. So
yeah, it didn't drop yet.
It usually drops like 2 o'clock Eastern time, like after the football games have started. So let's finish with that, man. Y'all expecting Rich? You expecting University of Miami to be ranked this week? And do you want the University of Miami to be ranked?
I don't want them to be, but I think they probably will be.
You don't want us? I think we deserve to be in the top 25 at least.
Nah, because they've done that before, where people were like, "Oh, the U is back," and then we go not ranked to number 13, and then
I don't think it's so much as the U back. We beat a ranked team. I think 3 ranked teams lost. I mean, I think we deserve to be in the top 25.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I think we deserve it.
Tulane, Alabama, and
I'm not even talking about Bama. Like, even though Bama lost, like Bama would probably still be like 15, or you know what I'm saying. Like, Tulane lost. Who else lost?
Did UNC end up losing?
Nah, they came back and won in overtime.
They won. Tulane lost.
What y'all talking about? I'm not updated.
Tulane and Wisconsin lost.
There's not no updated AP poll on ESPN. Y'all looking at power rankings or FPI?
Yeah, that didn't come out yet. So yeah,
it's not out yet.
Yeah, I think we deserve to be ranked. I'm with Rich. I don't want us to be ranked. I want us to keep that chip on our shoulder, stay underdog, and sneak up on people and all that good stuff. But do we deserve to be ranked? Yes. Will we be ranked? Yeah, I'm sure of it. We meet the criteria. So
I agree. I think I got this weird feeling. Like when they later on in the season, when they look at who we played in our resume, I think we have a weak ass schedule. If I'm being honest with you, just looking at if Clemson don't figure something out sooner rather than later, they become they become something that we not expecting. Like,
I mean,
and
as of now,
doesn't help us.
you got four opponents. You have Texas A&M, you got Clemson, you got Florida State, you got North Carolina. That's 4 ranked teams.
That means
Teams don't play 4 ranked teams.
Because A&M's probably dropping out. You don't lose by double digits on the road.
Yeah.
Beat them while they was ranked. You beat them while they was ranked. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know, but the committee never looks at that. They never go back and say, when they play, they do it for SEC teams. That's why they always keep them so highly ranked. But when other conferences do it, they don't give us that benefit of the doubt. They look at and I'm not saying Jimbo's trending because I think Bobby Traynor was a good addition. I think that team's going to be good in a lot of games. Like I think the SEC as a whole is down this year, so he might be able to sneak out some victories. But he's definitely going to be unranked this week. You don't lose double digits on the road. I think in 2 weeks we went from 16 to unranked when we played them last year. So I don't see a scenario, from being honest, where they stay ranked. So unless they get back,
they out of it this week because they what 23 or 22. So
that means we now have to wait for them to be basically a somewhat decent power in the SEC to give us credibility if we do get into the college football playoff discussion. Florida State got to keep dominating, and we got to beat them. And then Clemson they look like a shell of themselves. Like I don't know if they're gonna stay ranked.
North Carolina ranked number 17, so you got to beat them.
They're gonna drop. Being in a dogfight and winning in overtime against, like Matt Brown said after the game, I'm glad we don't play these dudes no more. About Appalachian State, because the last 3 years they played these dudes, it's been less than a touchdown difference.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna drop from that performance. Like, and Drake May, everybody's saying Drake May. It's exactly what I knew I should have said at the beginning of the season. That sophomore slump was coming because we saw it with Tyler, and everybody was sucking this kid off, and it's looking like it's happening. They're like, well, we can just run the ball better now. It's like, nah, that boy, people know who he is now, so they on his ass, right? So we gotta hope that UNC stays ranked. We gotta hope that Florida State keeps dominating because it's gonna look good on the resume. We gotta hope that Clemson stays ranked. We gotta hope that Jimbo stays ranked, and that one of these other ACC teams rises from the ashes and at least starts making some noise that we play later in our schedule. Because right now, the rest of the ACC opponents ain't looking like it. Georgia Tech is mid. I think Boston College has lost to like Willacoochee State School for the Blind yesterday.
It should have kept Duke on our schedule.
Yeah, Duke would have actually been that's crazy to say in 2023 that Duke is a quality win, but that's the reality. Duke would have been a quality win if we played them. What I said, pause. I don't know what I said. Chris told me why. But yeah, at the end of the day, man, I'm looking forward to it. I think the sky's the limit with this team. I think we're our biggest enemy. If we line that shit up and we stay and we fight that game yesterday was huge for adversity. Tyler said in the post game press conference, this team would have shut that shit down last year and just lost. Like, I'm just being honest. So definitely looking forward to seeing where this team goes. X, you was there. We'll finish off with this. Recruiting. Everybody want to know about all these recruits that was at the game, what the words was, how they was feeling. Stock up, stock down, University of Miami.
Did Jeremiah show up?
No, he was at Ohio State.
Yeah, he didn't show up. But, definitely got word that he was definitely checking it out. He got word from his main man who was there. His running mate who was there was like, yeah, boy, this thing real. Stock up big time, man. I think we got a commit yesterday. I'm not gonna say the name or nothing like that, but I think we got a commit. Another top target. The staff is after LJ McCray. That thing might be for real with him. Stock up, boy, recruiting. They was there. They were loving it, man. They say the stadium was rocking. They liked the offense. They liked the defense. Yeah.
Did you see that crystal ball? We got a crystal ball for a DN, I think, last night.
Oh, yeah. Booker. Yeah, Booker. He's a legacy kid, so I figured he'll be in our class. They just kind of slowed down early on with the process, but they back on him heavily. You know what I'm saying? He's a good 6'3", 6'4", defensive end.
Get take?
Hell yeah. He had damn near almost 35 sacks last year, something like that.
3, 4-star. What we talking about?
Wait, no, he's a 4-star. He's a 4-star. He's a 4-star. Yeah, Ohio State recruit.
What did the kick commit?
You in the portal, KB? What'd you say?
I said, where X?
Yeah, I couldn't hear nothing you said, KB.
Yeah. You in transfer portal.
And Chris Cole.
Oh, Chris Cole.
Oh, he commits today. I was just
today.
The first thing I was asking him, like, "Hey, what's good?" He like, "Yeah, man, we on him, man, but it wasn't that much communication late on, but they started picking up a lot of communication lately, but I don't know, man. I'm thinking it's Georgia."
That's crazy because Georgia was not on his radar from the jump.
Nobody was. Nobody was.
Miami was.
We was the only one.
That's crazy. It be your own people, dog.
At the end of the day, I think it could be a surprise, though. You know what I'm saying? Because he does genuinely like Miami and like Coach Mario and the staff. So it could be a surprise. It could be a surprise today, man, when he commits. I'm hoping that it is, but just from talks with the staff and stuff like that, it just wasn't that much communication as they wanted.
Here's a good question about another QB. I guess Judd had a bad game this past week. Forget the game that he brought them back and won a game against a huge rival in Georgia. But he had a bad game this week, and everybody's off the Judd hype. And so,
he did? I thought he had okay, that's right. It was last week.
Yeah, it was last week. So he had a bad game. Everybody's jumping off the bandwagon now. What do you think? Do you think we're looking at another quarterback in this class?
Probably not in the high school class, but most definitely in the portal.
Okay.
I mean, I gave y'all that hint already about the guy in the portal already who they identify or who's been identified.
Did you?
I know I did.
You said in the space?
No, well, I didn't publicly say his name. I just gave him.
Okay. Got you.
CJ Belly is not flipping. He's locked there with North Carolina State. So kill that dream.
Chaminade quarterback.
That's CJ, kill that dream. He's sticking with North Carolina State.
They say you seeing 3 stars moving up in stars?
See, who do we have a 3-star that could potentially do? I don't be checking. I don't really be caring about their stars, to be honest. But
in fact, did y'all not learn anything last night? Team full of 5 stars still get dumped by 2 touchdowns on the road.
Yeah,
man. Y'all need to understand something. All stars is potential. That's it. You can grab the talent acquisition that's huge, that's important, but you got to develop it. And that's what we spent a lot of years wasting time on, bringing a bunch of stars in, and then when it took time for them to get on the field, they weren't living up to the potential that the recruiting service had them at. You got to be able to develop these guys, and that's the biggest thing with Mario and bringing the type of guys he's bringing in. You could, if you said, "Hey, look at this A&M game and tell me who the 5-star is, and tell me who the 3-star is." There's guys on Miami sideline that you wouldn't be able to differentiate from a 5 and a 3-star, just from their play, right? You got to develop the talent. Don't worry about what's coming in, because the guy can be a 5-star and not do much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only two that could move up in ranking is most likely going to be Isaiah Thomas, Ryan Mack. Those two move up. Judd, I think he'll move up. I don't think he'll get the 4-star at the end of the day. Offensive lineman Derek Plate can move up also. Be borderline, trying to get between that borderline 4-star or stuff like that. So, but again, like I say, I don't pay attention to the stars like that, man. The way I think it's Osmond is evaluating these players, man. I trust him all the way.
I'm gonna put some pressure on you. So the guy that I'm gonna do my best Susan impression. So the guy that you think may commit to Miami X, is that guy a safety or is he in the D line? A D lineman?
You say the guy that may commit to Miami?
Yeah, after the A&M game.
I'm trying to sound it out of my head, like how would Susan have questioned that? I'm saying before I answer, let me see how would she have questioned that to me. Man, it's a safety guy. It's a safety guy.
I got you.
There it is. With that being said, man, appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure before you leave, you know what I'm saying? You know, like your mom used to tell you when you leave the house, you make sure you say goodbye before you leave, you know what I'm saying? Make sure I hit that like button before y'all leave, you know what I'm saying? Have some respect. Appreciate y'all being in here, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in with us. Gentlemen, appreciate the info and the insight as always. Go Canes, man. Thursday night. Our schedule gonna be weird again because we got one of those super short weeks. Space on Wednesday. We still doing that. The game the next day, so that's gonna be weird. We'll see if we can get around to a prediction show. We may not, just kind of the proximity and the shortness of the week. But it's Bethune-Cookman. I mean, do y'all really want to hear a prediction show about Bethune-Cookman? Probably not.
Yeah, predict right. We can do it right now. We got 2 minutes. Everybody, what's the score prediction? We can do it right now. Get this shit over with.
Rich, score prediction.
Bethune-Cookman, I will say 63-3.
X, what you got?
70-0. We skunking them fools.
70 is it.
I think it's gonna be a tough game for like a good 30 seconds, and so I think we'll finish it off like I'm gonna say 77-7. But I think it's gonna be a back and forth for the first 30 seconds. Damn, 77-7. Just in case we don't get to a prediction show, just letting y'all know.
We not for no Bethune-Cookman.
KB rolling 777.
I'm gonna call it. Yeah, I'll call it 77 zip. I ain't gonna lie, like it gives you let these guys score. Kevin Steele's understandable, big picture, seeing everything after the fact. But if we let these guys score, man, I'm gonna have some. Now, granted, if they score on the third unit, you know what I'm saying, with the flying Rigoni, I get it, right? But if I see this team scoring anybody who got second or first team started snaps, I'm gonna lose my mind.
This nigga said the fire Rigoni.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? That's the real MVP of the room, you know what I'm saying? Corey Flagg, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm just kidding. Anywho, that's it, man. Appreciate y'all. Wednesday, we got the space. Tune in. I got a weird feeling this is gonna be hot. Right now, you're starting to see these articles circulating that I'm not gonna pay for, but my dog X gonna have probably some insight and some intel Wednesday about the after effects of that game. So please make sure you tune in. I think
Get to the space.
We had 1,000 in the last live.
On
the last space.
The total amount when it's live, it was what 430 something.
Okay.
Instantly, when I got off within like 30 minutes, it jumped up to like 1,000 listeners. I was like, God damn, like, but yeah, like and it don't just all be Cane fans. It be everybody listening to us, man. So
yeah, I think it be coaches, recruits, other fan bases, like yeah. So definitely shout out to everybody who pulled up to that, man. Shout out to everybody who pulled up in the stream. Still got 247 in here. We're gonna let y'all get to the Sunday football. I got homework. Hey, appreciate y'all once again. Last thing, anything else? Last thing, anybody got anything else?
Nah, that's it. And that,
That's it.
Caneville t-shirt link is out. If you want to order your t-shirts, definitely order those shirts. If you want to order them and get them to you before Thursday, you better order them like today and tomorrow. Other than that, they won't come to you before Thursday.
And like you said, X giving out 5 shirts at the Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah,
Bethune-Cookman game.
Yep.
You have to be following both channels, this channel and Footballville. Don't just walk up, follow, look, and then unfollow. Like, that's some hater shit. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to y'all, shout out to the fans. We hit 1,000 subs. We appreciate y'all. That's it, man. Until next time, we about this thing.
Peace.